declaration part, body of the program, and end of the program. And here, before ending, we will write the return either 0 or 1 or something you can write. See here. So this is known as basic structure of C program. Whenever we write a C program, see already in the algorithm we have seen one structure. What is that? Every algorithm must start with start instruction. Every algorithm must end with stop instruction. And all the steps of algorithm must be given sequence numbers. Like here also we have seen broader and basic structure of C program. See, first one is linkage section. Remember, always use hash include. We will see what is this. Hash include stdio.h. Linkage means C is having some inbuilt
Sir,
function.
not expecting write down, sir.
Not visible.
Sir, write down.
Sir,
Okay.
first two lines are visible outlays.
First two lines, sir.
Sir.
Okay.
Hash include ఒకటి linkage section.
Linkage section. External variable declaration, function definitions, and we can take symbolic constants, macro definitions, and like we can take all those things.
సార్ ఇంకొద్దిగా సెట్ చేయాలి సార్, కనబడట్లేదు.
Good.
పైన లింకేజ్ పర్ఫార్మెన్స్,
లింకేజ్ సెక్షన్ కనబడట్లేదా?
రిటర్న్ కూడా కనబడట్లేదు.
ఓహో, అయితే బోర్డు కొంచెం దూరం ఓకే.
కింద రిటర్న్ పోయింది, లేదు ఓకే, కింద రిటర్న్ పోయింది.
ఇది కనబడట్లేదు. ఓకే, సో ఐ లీవ్స్ అప్ టు హియర్ ఓన్లీ. ఇక్కడ వరకు వాడతాను. నెక్స్ట్ రిటర్న్ 0. Is it okay now?
Okay, sir. Now okay.
ఓకే సార్.
Okay. So this is a basic structure of C program. See, coming to the first one, see, out of this complete structure, main is known as, we will see about this in our coming classes, maybe in the third unit or at the end of second unit of BTech syllabus. And this also we will see when we come to storage classes topic. And see here, this is main is called as function of C program. This time being, remember, whenever we comes to the functions topic, we will see in detail study of functions. Function of C program. So every C program must contain main function. So the complete program is going to be written within the main function. Remember, a function can return values. Don't worry about all these things, because when functions is a big topic, when we come to that topic, we will see why we have taken integer and what is the function. All those things we will study. We will have detailed study about functions in our coming classes. So time being, remember, main is known as function of C program. Every C program must contain main function. And we are going to write our complete program within the main function itself. Opening braces. See here, in our language, totally we are going to use 4 different types of brackets. One is flower bracket, so 3 brackets. Second one is square bracket. Third one is parenthesis. We use 3 different types of brackets. So first one is called as flower brackets, or we can call them as braces. And start opening braces indicates starting of the module or starting of a particular thing. And closing braces indicates that thing was completed or that thing was ended there. And the next one, square brackets. These are called as square brackets, or also can be called as delimiters, that we will use in arrays topic. Okay. And the next one, these brackets are called as round brackets, or we can call them as parentheses, right? So here, coming to this one, we used opening braces, and this is called as, this is known as starting of C program. Starting of C program. And already we have seen in our algorithms, we store data by using variables or by using identifiers. So whenever we use variables in our program, they must be declared. They must be declared. Just remember, we will see once again one by one. When we come to the declaration of variables, there we will see detailed study of declaration part. So whenever we use variables in our program, they must be declared by using proper data types. And the next, body of the program, according to the task or according to the requirement of the user, we can write logical instructions. That is known as body of the program. And remember, so here we have taken integer. Whenever we use integer, here we have to return either return 0 or return 1. You can return any integer value, because every function must main will return a value, an integer value. So we have taken this one. Just timing, remember this one. And coming to the linkage section, C is having inbuilt functions. So whenever we use those functions, we must link that corresponding header file to the following program. So no need to worry about all these things. And now onward, just remember, always you start your program by using hash include stdio.h. In our coming classes, we will see detailed study of all these things. stdio.h is a header file. What is a file? File is a space where data will be stored. So that file contains all the functions which belongs to input-output operations. stdio means standard input-output header file. This file contains all functions which belongs to input-output operations. So whenever we use those operations in our program, we need to inform to the compiler from which file we got those, or which file we are importing, or from which file we are taking those functions. So that corresponding file must be included to the program. Suppose if I use mathematical functions in my program, then what we have to do, we have to link, or we have to include mathematical math.h header file, as it contains the functions of mathematical operations, right? So anyway, in every program we are going to use input-output function. So always you start your program with hash include stdio.h. And in our coming classes, we will see what are the header files and what are the functions available in those header files. And also we will see how to create our own header files also. So here it is very clear. We will start the program by using hash include stdio.h. We will link standard input-output header file to the following program. And the main is known as function of C program, opening braces, closing braces, starting and ending of C program. So whenever we use variables, we are going to declare those variables by using declaration part and the body of the program, finally return. This is basic structure of C program. Okay. So next, coming to the important topic, data types. What is data? Just remember all these things. These are the fundamentals of language. Data types. What is data? Data is nothing but information. Suppose if I say runs 360, grade A, name Vagdevi, some percentage 90.3. So how many data items we have taken? 4 data items we have taken. And if you try to classify, or if you try to find out the nature of this data, we can categorize into two types. One is, these two are numeric items, as numbers unnai kabatti we call them as numeric data, and these are non-numeric data. These are called as non-numeric data items. So just depending on the nature, we divide it into some parts. And again, if you want to classify, this is an absolute integer and this is a real number. So integer data, what is the type of this data? The data belongs to integer type. What is this number? This is an integer number. And coming to this 90.3, this is a real number which consists of integer as well as decimal part. And coming to this one, this is a single alphabet, and this is set of alphabets. And of course, coming to the language, we can say this is a single character and this is set of characters. So like that, depending on the nature of the data, we can take into several categories. So C divided the data into several types. They are nothing but data types of C language. They are called as data types of C language. So what are the data types? Is it visible?
No, sir.
First
Okay.
one is primary data types, secondary data types, and a ternary, or we can call them as derived data types. First one is known as primary or fundamental or elementary or inbuilt, whatever it may be called, all are same. I repeat once again, primary data types or fundamental data types or inbuilt data types or elementary data types, all are same. The data type which is already available or the data type which is defined by the language, because C language is giving some fundamental data types to the user. So they are called as primary data types. So primary or elementary or fundamental or inbuilt. Inbuilt means already it was built in. It was provided by the language. The data type which was provided by the language is are called as data types which are already defined by the language are called as fundamental or inbuilt or predefined or primary data types. And next one, secondary, or this can also called as user defined. Who are the users? We are the users. We are going to write the program, so we are called as users. So according to the requirement of the program, we can create our own data types like structures, unions. So those are called as secondary data type or user defined. Remember, just you try to uh, know the definitions of all this. We will see one by one in our coming classes. So first one is the data type which is already available, or the data type which is already defined by the language is called as primary data type. The data type which was defined by the users is called as user defined. And coming to the derived. So derived is nothing but using some fundamental data types, we can take the derivation to the new data type like pointers and arrays. And they are called as derived data types. And coming to the primary data types, here I'll write here clearly. First one is integer, next character, third one is float, and the next one is double. And also you can take void as also a data type, and it is called as empty data type. So these are the fundamental data types. So time being, no need to worry about the void also, because void can be taken as empty data type. That we will see once again in functions. So coming to the secondary data types, you can take structures and unions. These are separate topics, separate concepts of C language, pointers, functions, and arrays.
Sir, primary data type not visible, sir.
This is not visible. I'll write once again. Just note down.
Yes.
Integer, character, float, and double. These are the fundamental or primary data types. Okay. Now we will see about primary data types, and in our coming classes, we will see about secondary and derived. So primary data types are predefined. What are the primary data types? First one is integer. Second one is
లెఫ్ట్ సైడ్ రాయకండి సార్ కనబడట్లేదు.
ఇది. ఓకే. ఇక్కడ ఓకేనా?
ఓకే, అక్కడి నుంచే స్టార్టింగ్ పాయింట్ చేయండి.
Integer. Second one, character. Third one, float, and fourth one, double. These are the fundamental data types, and these data types are provided by the language. So, these data types are provided by the language. See here, in the language, no need to write all these data types as it is. Language is providing some short forms, and they're called as keywords. So instead of writing complete word integer, it is enough to write only int, int, int. When you write int, int, that will be treated as integer. This is keyword, or we can say reserved word. And in case of characters, no need to write the complete word, just we can write char, char. And coming to the remaining these two as anyway, they are in short form, so they will be written as it is. So int is for integer, char, first four characters is for character, float, and double. Now you tell me, by using this integer, what kind of data we can show? So we can represent any integer value, any absolute value we can take, some 100, 200, 293, 4, 5, like that. We can take all absolute integer values. And what about character? Using character type or using character data type, we can represent any character from character set of C language. Already we have seen 4 different types of characters. Alphabets we can use, digits we can use, white spaces we can use, and also we can use special characters. We can take any one character and we can represent by using this character data type. And coming to float and double, so by using float and double, real numbers will be represented. Now you may get one question, why there are 2 data types are available for representation of same kind of information? There is some differences are there that we will see. So time being, remember, float and double are used to represent real type of data, real numbers, 100 point. What is a real number? Which consists of integer part and decimal part. See here, what is a valid real number? Suppose if I write 1.5, is it valid or not? Yes, it is valid. Suppose if I write 0.5, is it valid? Yes, it is valid. And if I write 0.5, is it valid? It is not valid, because it must consist integer part as well as decimal part. And even you can write, if you write 5 point, that is also not valid. You have to
Sir.
write 5 point. Yes.
Maluk sir, repeat yemantunnaru sir. Repeat once.
Okay.
Okay.
So there are 4 data types are available. What are the integer values? An absolute number is called as integer. So any absolute number can be shown by using integer data type. Suppose if I declare a variable of type integer, say if I call a is an integer, so what values we can store in a? We can store any absolute number or any integer value in a. And if I take a variable of type characters, if I declare a variable of type character, in that variable we can store any one character from character set of C language. Float and double, these 2 are used for representation of real numbers. Real numbers. What are the real numbers? For example, 1.234 is a real number. Integer part and decimal part.
Sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello. Hello. Voice is clear. Hello. Any problem? Is it not audible? Hello?
Is it clear, sir?
Okay then. Shall I continue?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is a real number. A valid real number must consist of integer part as well as decimal part. See here, if there is no integer part or if there is no decimal part, in that case we have to write 0.123 or 123.0. But we cannot write 0.123 or 123 point. These 2 are invalid, right? So every real number must consist of integer as well as decimal part. These are the 4 fundamental data types. Now, coming to the memory allocations here. So we are saying that by using this, by using these data types, we are going to show the data, type of the data. We are going to show the type of the data. So every integer, these types of data will occupy some memory space. Suppose if I say a equals to 10, what does it mean? 10 is stored in a space whose name is a, or a is allocated for this much of space, and in that space 10 is accommodated, 10 is stored, right? So similarly, all these data types are having predefined sizes. Every integer will take 2 bytes or 4 bytes. I'll tell you why it is. Because when we use Ubuntu operating system, Linux operating system, if you work on Linux platform in GCC compiler, it will take 4 bytes. But when you work on Turbo compilers, it will take 2 bytes. It will take 2 bytes. So you take, this is Turbo standard, and this is for Linux operating system. And coming to the character, it will take 1 byte, and float will take 4 bytes. Generally, memory will be measured in terms of bytes. 1 byte equals to how many bits? 8 bits. And a double will take 8 bytes. These are the memory capacities taken by all these data types. So whenever we store an integer value, that will occupy how many bytes of memory space? It will take 2 bytes of memory space. And every character will take 1 byte of memory space. Every float will take 4 bytes, and every double will take 8 bytes. And here you can tell one difference. So I already told you that by using float and double, we show only real numbers. So there are differences in sizes, 4 by 4 and 8. So we can store a larger number than float by using double, because float will take 4 bytes and double will take 8 bytes. So the number which cannot be accommodated by using 4 bytes, the real number which cannot be accommodated by using 4 bytes can be accommodated by using, or can be stored by using, double data type. Double data type. So that is one difference is at size. We will see another difference also. We will see another difference also. So these are the memory capacities required, and how many bits it will take. 2 bytes means 16 bits it will use, and it will use 8 bits, and it will use 32 bits, 4 into 8, and this will take 64 bits for storing its information. So these are the memory capacities required for these data types. Is it clear, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Now, coming to the integers. So how many bytes it will take? It will take 2 bytes, or we can say it will take 16 bits. So when the size is limited, we can define what maximum number can be stored in these 2 bytes. That is called as range. Range means ఏ నెంబర్ నుంచి ఏ నెంబర్ వరకు మనం స్టోర్ చేసుకోవచ్చు తెలిపే values ఏమంటాం, we call them as range of an integer. Let us take, before calculating that one, because I'll tell you one example, and for remaining you can calculate or you can remember directly. Suppose I have taken 4 cells and I want to define the range of these 4 cells. Range means what is the minimum number can be stored and what will be the maximum number which can be stored by using these 4 cells or 4 blocks. If you take decimal number system, what are the decimal number system digits? 0 to 9. So if I take all zeros, then you are going to get minimum value. And if I store with all 9s, you are going to get highest value. So now you can say, sir, range of these 4 cells, we can store any number between 0 to 9,999. That will be the range of these 4 cells. Suppose if I increase one more cell, then what will be its range? We can store any number which between 0 to 99,999. But is it possible to store negative numbers? If you take this one, we cannot store negative. So if you want to store even negative numbers, in that case, out of these 5 bits, 5 cells, I am allocating 1 cell for sign representation. Either it may be plus or minus. Plus or minus. So now you tell me what will be the minimum and what will be the maximum number. Minimum number is minus 9,999 to plus 9,999. So this will be the range of these 5 cells. So we can store any number which ranges between minus 9,999 to plus 9,999. Out of these 5 bits, we have taken 1 bit for a representation of sign. So this is called as sign bit or sign cell. And this is in case of your decimal number system. But already we know that in our computers, every piece of information will be represented only in terms of zeros and ones. Only information will be represented in terms of zeros and ones in binary format. So if I use binary number system here, so what are the binary numbers? 0 and 1, only 2 digits are there. 0 is the minimum and the first digit, first bit, and 1 is the second bit. Only 2 bits are available in binary. By means 2. So if I take 1, 1, 1, 1, whatever the value we get in decimal will be the range. What is the equivalent decimal value for 1, 1, 1, 1? You are going to get 2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of 1, 2 to the power of 2, 2 to the power of 3. So 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1. That is 15 you are going to get. So range can be defined as minus 15 to plus 15. Range can be defined as minus 15 to plus 15. You can accommodate any number which lies between minus 15 to plus 15. Out of 5 bits here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out of 5 bits, we have taken 1 bit for representation of sign. And this is called as sign bit, and the remaining 4 we have taken representation of the number. This is in case of representation of signed numbers. Signed means maybe it is positive or negative. So this is for 5 bits, and if I increase 1 more bit here, you will get 1 more 1, and you can convert into the decimal number. Similarly, in case of integer, totally how many bits are used? How many bits are used? 16 bits are used. Out of 16 bits, one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 15. This much of memory space is required for storing an integer. Totally how many bytes of data? 2 bytes. 8 to 15, 1 byte, 8 bits, and 0 to 7, next 1 byte. So altogether how many bytes? This is 2 bytes of data. You know already, out of 16 bits, 1 bit is allocated for sign, that is sign bit, and the remaining all will be taken with ones. Remaining all will be taken with ones. So whatever the value you will get, that will define the range of this integer. Now, after this class, you can calculate 2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of 1, 2, 3, like that. You can take all values. Numbering you take from 0, 1, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. So you can do this one. So whatever the value you will get, 2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of 1, 2 to the power of 2, like that you can do calculation. You convert these values into the decimal number system. Whatever the value you will get, that will define the range. Minus 32,767 to plus 32,768 you will get. So this will be defined. This will define the range of integers. Coming to the sign bit, in some cases we don't want to store negative numbers, or if you know that you are going to use only positive values in your program, in that case we can go for unsigned integer. And in that case, unsigned integer, unsigned means not signed. Say here, plus 25, minus 25, 25. Plus 25 is signed number, minus 25 is signed number, 25 is unsigned number. Unsigned numbers are treated as positive values. So when it is unsigned, or when there are no negative values, in that case even we can use the last bit also for representation of sign. But coming to the signed data type, signed means any, it can be signed float or signed double. So coming to the signed data types, out of n bits, for example, integer will take 16 bits, character will take 8 bits, double will take 32 bits, and double will take 64 bits, and float will take 32 bits. Out of n bits, 1 bit is allocated for signed representation, and the remaining n minus 1 are used to show the range of the number, or use it to show the range of the number. In the similar way, you can calculate the remaining things, or otherwise I'll give you all ranges directly. See here, this integer is further classified into few more categories. One is short integer, and long integer or long. Long integer or long. Say in my program I want to store marks of a student. Marks of a student in a single subject. So generally what we will use a variable called as em. And what kind of data we are going to store in em? Generally mark will be an absolute number, integer only. Marks etla untai, integer mark vastundi. Some examination intermediate marks anukondi. So what value we are going to store? We are going to store an integer. So how much memory space it will take? It will take 2 bytes of memory space. And what is your maximum value per mark? Maximum value is 150. Or let us say you are going to store only, you have taken only up to 100 itself. Either you can take 150 also. So minimum value will be 0 and the maximum mark will be 100. Minimum is 0 and the maximum is 100. And how many bytes of memory space you are allocating? You are allocating 2 bytes of memory space in which we can store any number which lies between minus 32,000 something and plus up to plus 32,000 something. And what value you are going to store? Now by using this marked variable, you are going to store a value which lies between 0 to 100 itself, which can be accommodated only in 1 byte of memory space. మన స్టోర్ చేసే వాల్యూ ఏంటి? 0 నుంచి 100 మధ్యలోనే ఉంటుంది. దానికి ఎంత మనకు 1 byte సరిపోతుంది. కానీ అనవసరంగా ఇక్కడ ఏం చేసాం మనం? We allotted 2 bytes where 1 byte of memory space will be wasted. Let us assume that in your class some 100 members are there, and if I want to store marks of all 100 students, in that case how many bytes of memory space will be wasted? And of course if you declare all as integers, or 1 byte in each variable, 100 bytes of data will be wasted. Let us assume that in your class 60 students are there and you are storing marks of 60 students in 5 different subjects. In that case, 300 bytes of memory data will be wasted. Bytes. So when number is short, when the data value is short, when it can be accommodated in 1 byte of memory space, then no need to go for integers, where we can avoid wastage of memory. So that can be done by using this integer classification. Short integer will take 1 or 2 bytes, again depending on your processor. So let us say, according to turbo compilers, it will take 1 byte. And integer will take, just remember I am telling in view of turbo compilers itself, and if you go for Linux, it will take 4 bytes integer. So here it will take 2 bytes and long will take 4 bytes. So when the data value is smaller, which can be accommodated in 1 byte of memory space, in that case we can go for integer. And if it is not sufficient, then we can go for short integer or short integer if it is smaller. And otherwise we can go for integer, which takes 2 bytes. And if it is not enough to store in 2 bytes also, in that case we can go for long integer. These are the classifications, right? Different types. And anyway, for every data type, signed, unsigned is there. Signed means negative can also be represented. Unsigned means only positive numbers will be used. And when we use signed data type, out of n bits, 1 is allocated for signed representation, and the remaining n-1 are used for representation of number. According to unsigned, all the n bits are used for representation of number itself. Right? Is it clear? So for what we have seen about the data types. I'll brief it once again. There are 3 different types of data types are available in C language. One is fundamental or primary or predefined data type. So predefined means which is already defined by the language or which is already present in the language is called as predefined. So what are the predefined data types available? Integer, character, float, and a double. Integer, absolute number can be stored. Keyword is int, and it will take 2 bytes or 4 bytes, depending on your operating system. Character will take 1 byte, float will take 4 bytes, and the double will take 8 bytes. These are the memory capacities. And also we have seen every data type will have 2 categories, signed and unsigned. By using signed, we can store either negative or positive numbers. By using unsigned, we can store only positive values. And also we have seen how to calculate the range of a specific data type. Now, time. So we will see another important topic, that is declaration of variables. Declaration of variables. Remember, this plays very important role in your program. Maximum things will be decided in the declaration itself. So what is the variable? Variable is an identifier which is used to store the data. Which is used to store data. So let us go back to our algorithm to find the addition of 2 numbers. Start, read a comma b. Third one, c equals to a plus b. Fourth, write c. Fifth one, stop. So this is our algorithm. And how many variables have we used in this algorithm? 3 variables we used. A, comma b, comma c. And did we inform anywhere what kind of data we are going to store in these variables? We did not inform it. Directly, wherever we want to use those variables, directly we have taken there itself. Ikkada manaku kavali kabatti ikkade teeseskunnam. But according to C language, before using variables, according to all languages, according to any programming language, variables cannot be used directly as and when they are required. Before using the variables, they must properly declared by using data types. So in the program, we have to give a declaration that I'm going to use these many variables, and also I'm going to store this type of data in these variables. That information must be given before going to use the variable. So as if you are going to store integers, we have to inform that I'm going to use ABC 3 variables in my program, and I'm going to store integer data. So it will restrict us to store only integer values. And if at all you want to find the addition of two real numbers, in that case, we have to declare them as either float or double. Right? So this is called as declaration. Declaration of variables. Remember, before going to use any variable in the program, that must be declared properly by using a data type. Now we will see how we are going to decide the data types to declare the variables. So general syntax. Syntax means it is a format in which we have to use the statements. Data type, and a list of variables. Variable 1, variable 2, like we can take up to variable n. This is a syntax or format of declaration statement. This is a format of declaration statement. Let us take an example. Integer a comma b comma c. What is the data type? Data type is integer. What are the variables we used? A, B, C. A, B, C. So now we are declaring that in my program I'm going to use, in the following program, I'm going to use three variables whose names are A, comma, B, comma, C, in which we are going to store information which belongs to integer type. Remember once again. So A, B, C are the three variables in which we can store integer data. Integer data. Just you take, I think you have taken this. Raskunnara, right? We'll go for another example.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Meerandaru inter complete chesaru. All of you completed inter. So tomorrow either you will join in BSc course or in BTech course. BSc course or BTech course. When you will be declared as BTech student, మిమ్మల్ని ఎప్పుడు డిక్లేర్ చేశారు BTech student అని చెప్పేసి, when you took admission in a college, then you will be declared as BTech student. Say for example, X is a student. X is a student who declared as VCE CSC data under data type. దీని అర్థం ఏంటి ఇక్కడ? X took admission in, X is officially declared as student of CSC branch of VCE college, Vagdevi college. మీరు అడ్మిషన్ తీసుకోగానే మీకు ఏమవుతుంది? అఫీషియల్లీ యు ఆర్ డిక్లేర్డ్ యాజ్ ఏ స్టూడెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఎ పర్టికులర్ కాలేజ్. మీరు డిక్లేర్ అయినలు అంటే అక్కడ ఇంకేమవుతాయి? అక్కడ ఆటోమేటికల్లీ ఏ ప్లేస్, ఏ బెంచ్ విల్ బి రిజర్వ్డ్ ఫర్ యూ, సమ్ స్పేస్ విల్ బి అలొకేటెడ్ ఫర్ యూ. మీరు ఇంటర్లో అడ్మిషన్ తీసుకున్నారు, ఆటోమేటిక్ ఏమైపోయింది? చైతన్య కాలేజీలో అడ్మిషన్ తీసుకున్నారు. మీరు డబ్బులు కట్టి అడ్మిషన్ తీసుకోగానే మిమ్మల్ని స్టూడెంట్, చైతన్య స్టూడెంట్ అని అఫీషియల్గా డిక్లేర్ చేయగానే ఏమైపోయింది? ఆటోమేటికల్లీ a bench was reserved on your name. Some space is allocated for you in the classroom. And also you have to follow the rules of Chaitanya College. So when we declare the things, space will be allocated and also it will be defined what kind of data will be stored. Suppose if I declare CSCX and ECE Y. Now, how many students have we taken? We have taken two students. One is X and second one is Y. We declared X of type CSC. Say, let us say VC, Vagdevi itself. So, in Vagdevi College, in CSC classroom, a bench will be allocated for X. And in CCE classroom, Vagdevi College, one bench is allocated for Y. So one thing is very clear. By the declaration, it will be decided what how much amount of memory space to be allocated. Space allot అవుతుంది, ఎంత స్పేస్ అలాట్ అవుతుంది. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ X అనే వాడిని తీసుకున్నారనుకోండి, వాడికి ఎక్కడికి స్పేస్ అలొకేట్ కావాలి? ఒక కంప్యూటర్ అలొకేట్ కావాలి, కంప్యూటర్ ల్యాబ్లో స్పేస్ అలొకేట్ కావాలి, క్లాస్ రూమ్లో స్పేస్ అలాట్ కావాలి. సో లైక్ దట్. సో డిపెండింగ్ ఆన్ ద బ్రాంచ్ ఎక్కడెక్కడ అనేది ఉంటుంది. అట్లాగే కమింగ్ టు అవర్ డేటా టైప్స్, there are several data types which takes different bytes of memory spaces. Suppose if you declare a variable of type integer, it will be allocated for 2 bytes, and if you declare a variable of type float, it will be allocated for 4 bytes. So here one thing is very clear, that by the declaration variables are allocated to the memory space, and the data types will decide how much amount of memory space to be allocated. And second thing, now X declared as CSC, and one bench is allocated in CSC classroom, and Y declared as ECE, one bench is allocated in ECE classroom. ఇప్పుడు X అనేవాడు ఎలక్ట్రానిక్ సబ్జెక్ట్ చదువుకుంటాడా, కంప్యూటర్ సబ్జెక్ట్ చదువుకుంటాడా? His answer, X will learn the rules and regulations of CSC itself, and Y will learn, or Y will follow the rules and regulations of ECE. So by the declaration, two things will be decided. One is how much amount of memory space to be allocated, and what type. Here all the subjects which belongs to CSC type will be learned, and in the second case all which belongs to ECE course will be learned. So గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, సింపుల్గా అందరూ ఇంటీజర్ ఎక్స్ వై ఏబిసి అని డిక్లేర్ చేశారు, బట్ ఆల్ దీస్ థింగ్స్ విల్ హ్యాపెన్ ఇన్ ద డిక్లరేషన్ స్టేట్మెంట్. సో వెన్ యూ డిక్లేర్ ఎ వేరియబుల్, సో ఇస్ ఇట్ క్లియర్? I think it is clear. Let us come to the declaration. Integer A. First pointer, what is the name of the variable? That is A. Second pointer, how much amount of memory space to be allocated. You can write completely how much amount of memory space to be allocated. And the third point will be decided, that what type of data will be stored. What type of data will be stored. These three things will be decided in the declaration statement. These three things will be decided in the declaration statement. Now coming to our declaration statement, integer A. So what is the variable name? Variable name is A. Next, second point, how much amount of memory space to be allocated? A will be allocated to the memory space which is enough to store an integer. A లో మనం ఏం స్టోర్ చేయబోతున్నాం? ఇంటీజర్ వాల్యూ స్టోర్ చేయబోతున్నాం. కాబట్టి ఎంత స్పేస్ అలాట్ అవుతుంది? ఆల్రెడీ we have taken the memory sizes. So this is the space which was allocated for A, and what is this space? This is 2 bytes of memory space. How many bytes it was allocated? 2 bytes allocated. And in this 2 bytes of space, what kind of data we can store? Can we store a character? No, it won't allow. Can we store a real number? It won't allow. Then what we can store? We can store only the data which belongs to integer. So if I write A equals to 10, it will be stored here. And you can write A equals to 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 will be stored here in that memory space, right? I think it is clear. So by the declaration, our processor or compiler will come to know that what is the name of the variable and how much amount of memory space to be allocated, and what type of data will be stored in that allocated memory space. If I declare 3 variables, all the 3 variables will be allocated to the memory space, right? Okay. Now integer X, float Y, character C, H. How many variables have we declared? We declared 3 variables. X is belongs to integer type, and Y is belongs to float, and CH is belongs to characters. Now coming to the memory allocations. X will be allocated to how many bytes? 2 bytes or 4. Y for 4
4 bytes,
and the character for
1 byte.
what is the name of this variable? X. Name of this variable is Y, or we can say this complete memory space name is hereafter, that is X, or X represents value inside this memory space. Y shows the value which is inside this memory block, and similarly the same thing towards ch also. First point, what is the name of the variable, that is x, and how much amount of memory space to be allocated, 2 bytes, and what value we can store here, we can store only integers. And as it is belongs to float, we can store only real numbers, and here we can store only characters. And in a single declaration statement, you can declare any number of variables, but they must belong to the same data type. The integer a comma b comma c comma, like you can declare any number of variables under same data type. But if you go for a different data type, then you have to come to the different line. Right? I think it is clear. Next very important point is, so we have seen, Suresh sir, time on that. So this is a syntax. How to decide the data type to declare a variable. ఇప్పుడు మనం డిక్లేర్ చేయాలంటే వేరియబుల్ పేరు ఏం పెట్టాలి, డేటా టైప్ దానికి ఎట్లా సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకోవాలి, దిస్ విల్ బి ద బిగ్ క్వశ్చన్. ఇది తెలిసిపోయిందంటే ఇంకా మనకు ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఆల్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ మీద క్లారిటీ వచ్చేసినట్టే. సో జనరల్లీ హౌ డు వి సెలెక్ట్ ద వేరియబుల్ నేమ్, or why we use variables? We use variables to store the information. To store the data, we use